My name is Yadon Yasharal, and the title of today's Bible study is The Sanctified Servant. The Sanctified Servant. And one thing that we deal with being in this land of captivity and being removed from our heritage and fighting to receive an identity is we're faced with the world being worldly and just that constant fight against our flesh and the world of trying to be sanctified, trying to be separated and being holy unto the Most High. And it gets real difficult because we're dealing with so many different things. We're dealing with lost knowledge that was removed from us as part of the curses because we didn't want to walk in it. We're also dealing with the fact that we're surrounded by all the nations. And we're also dealing with the fact that our flesh constantly wants to do the things that are pleasing unto it, but Yahweh wants us to do the things that are righteous. So it gets a little hairy and sticky because we're not in our culture, we're not in our land, and it's not like, okay, in my household, I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to remain sanctified in my household because Yahweh's rule rules this household. And everybody's on one accord, and anybody else who wants to be in the household has to move according to that while they under this house. So it's easy. But when I go out, then, I'm around friends and family, people we grow up with, and it gets a little hairy and difficult because we have to be a light. And you don't take a light and put it under the table. You got to put it up high so people can see it. So those that are looking to have vision in the nighttime, in the darkness, can move towards it. So it gets sticky. And this class, what we're going to do is we're going to go over how to be sanctified. Now, anybody can not stop eating pork and doing these different things, but how do you carry yourself? How do you navigate? How do you go into dangerous territory, still remain sanctified, still remain separate, but available to help people and to guide people? So that's what we're going to go over today. Let's open up in Jeremiah chapter 10. Jeremiah chapter 10. And we're going to start this at verse 1. Because we had it easy at first. We had it where we were in the garden and, all we had to do was just follow instructions. Everything was good. And we would have probably had eternal life because there was no sin. There was nothing there to cause death. But after we showed ourselves unworthy by being disobedient, from that point on, it was an interview process. Who are going to be my eternal servants? Who's going to be my Adam to serve me in my kingdom and enjoy my perfect kingdom? Who is going to be that person? He can't just say, okay, you people, all of you people anymore. Because when he did that in the garden, we defiled it. So now it's a proving process to remove anything that is corruptible from you and to prove that you are going to serve the Most High. And if you can't serve him in your own place, your own land, how are you going to serve him in his? How are you going to serve him in his land if you can't do it in your own thing that you control, which is your temple? Jeremiah chapter 10, I'm going to start at verse 1.
Hear ye the word which Yahweh speaks to you, O house of Yasharal. Thus says Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cuts a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe.
So we know what this is going to be talking about, many of us that have read this. But if we just go back a little bit, it says, learn not, verse 2, learn not the way of the heathen. We're not even supposed to learn their ways. And this is what we're behind right now. We're behind because not only have we learned their ways, we're accustomed to their ways. We're not even supposed to know how they do things. Certain things, for example, I hate to pick on homosexuality, but they little things that they do, they little, clubs or however they, code of ethics, how they operate, we ain't even supposed to know that because we not around that. We, unless you got one in your family or somebody is close or something like that, there's a lot of things that they would do and how they act and their codes, their colors and all the stuff that they do that we wouldn't know. Now, women can pick up on that kind of stuff because they see the man who's not a woman trying to act like a woman, and they pick up the subtleties. But this way of the heathen, this vain way, we weren't even supposed to learn it. So we're at a disadvantage because now we have to unlearn those things and learn the ways of Yahweh when it's backwards. The ways of Yahweh is supposed to be common sense to us in our nation. And we're supposed to not learn anything of the heathen and unlearn anything that leaked in. Verse 3.
For the customs of the people are vain. For one cuts the tree out of the forest, the work of the hand of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil. Neither is it in them to do good. For as much as there is none like unto thee, O Yahweh, you are great, and your name is great in might.
So this here, again, just to review, for the customs of the people are vain. Verse 3, one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with an axe. They deck it with silver and gold. That's the what they call that, a tinsel, whatever. They fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not. That's how we used to have to do it back in the day. You had to get the little circular thing and you stick the tree in the hole and you get your hammer and you hammer both sides so the nails hold the tree upright. And then it says, they are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born. They got to be carried. It's nothing. It's a tree that can't move. It ain't your God. It ain't something to esteem. It ain't something that is holy unto Yahweh. This is something that is a vain thought of somebody that said, hey, you know what? That tree is an actual person. And why they had to make that statement of that they are upright as the palm trees, but speak not. They're not human. But if you look at the history of that evergreen tree, that thing go way back to Nimrod, where they actually believed he was reincarnated as a tree, and they give presents to him under the tree and give presents to each other to esteem Nimrod. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 7. Who would not fear you, O King of nations? For to you does it appertain, forasmuch as among all the wise men of the nation, and in all their kingdom, there is none like unto you. But they are altogether brutish and foolish. The stock is a doctrine of vanities.
A doctrine of vanities. And what vanities means is something that's insufficient. It's a roof that looks nice but doesn't cover your head. Some shoes that are really neat. They look real stylish. But as soon as you step in the water, it's soaking through and you're wet. The bottom of your feet are wet or they got no grip. A hammer that folds in all these different ways and looks great, but when you hammer it, it collapses and you can't hammer. That's vanity. It looked nice, but it doesn't do its job. So when you have a doctrine of vanities, that's what religion is, a doctrine of vanities. A bunch of doctrine that is not sufficient because there's only one way. There's only one Elohim. The L's that they have, the fake gods, the idols, they're not real. I don't care how much you make it real in your head. It's not real. So it's just vanity. And the Most High says, no, you are holy. You are supposed to be the example. So if you're supposed to be the example, you Yasharal, you're supposed to teach the world holiness, how to be holy, how to please the Creator. How are you going to do these things pertaining to worship practice, pertaining to salvation in vanity? Verse 9.
Silver spread into plates is brought from Tarshish, and gold from Euphrates, the work of the workmen in the hands of the founder. Blue and purple is their clothing. They are all the work of cunning men. For Yahweh is the true Elohim. He is the living Elohim, and an everlasting King. At his wrath the earth shall tremble, and the nations shall not be able to abide his indignation.
So it talks about here, silver is spread into plates, brought from Tarshish, and gold from Euphrates, the work of a workman. So a man has to physically build this idol with his hands out of things that Yahweh made. You have to take something Yahweh made, a living Elohim, and fashion it in a way to create a God that don't exist. The same goes for a building. No different. No different. So what if the building looks nice and you put Yahweh name all over it and you sanctify and all? It's still a building. It's not greater than the spirit that's in the building. But we get caught up in something that we're so carnal. We get caught up in something we can touch, feel, hear, and taste and smell. If we can't touch it, then we can't worship in the spirit without physically touching it. And that's an issue. That's a major problem that we have. And that's why folk don't want to act right in this word unless they got a judge, unless they got a brother that they esteem that's like, wait a minute, that's wicked. Then they're like, oh, I don't want to look bad in front of that person. So are you really repenting, or are you just scared? You just don't want to look bad, or you don't want to be embarrassed. Right. It's not true repentance. True repentance is changing the way you think. You know what? I'm going to esteem this Sabbath day because I know this is the single sign to my Father. And this is what got my people killed because we refuse to do this. And if I want to go back into my Father's house, then I need to keep his rules. I need to esteem him. I need to show him that this was temporary. That was a mistake. This is the real me. This is your real son. I love you. Go ahead.
Verse 11. Thus shall you say unto them, the mighty ones of God that have not made the heaven and the earth, even they shall perish from the earth and from under these heavens. He has made the earth by his power. He established the world by his wisdom, and has stretched out the heavens by his discretion. When he utters his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heavens, and he caused the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. He makes lightnings with rain, and brings forth the wind out of his treasure.
So he makes all those things. So when you see a tornado strike down a gay parade in Oklahoma, then who made that? Who did that? Yahweh allowed that to happen. He either did it or allowed it to happen, one way or another. When you see a big hurricane and all these people die, this is judgment. Look where these things are coming. Now, man being man, trying to be God, they have created ways to alter things, like with this harp, where they're altering the ionosphere, which is basically hot air and cold air, and controlling it, pushing and creating clouds with turbine engines and blowing clouds in the air, and using electrified skies to heat up the ionosphere to create weather. That's wicked. But every time they do that, they might be able to create something, but they can't control it. And it ends up being destruction unto their own selves.
Verse 14. Every man is brutish in his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image. For his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. They are vanity and the work of errors. In the time of their visitation they shall perish. The portion of Yaakov is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Yasharal is the rod of his inheritance. Yahweh of hosts is his name. Gather up thy wares out of the land, O inhabitant of the fortress. For this says Yahweh, behold, I will slay out the inhabitants of the land at this once, and will distress them, that they may find it so. Woe is me for my hurt, my wound is grievous. But I said, truly, this is a grief that I must bear.
So that is the grief that anybody who's a servant of Yahweh has to go through. Is he grievous because hey, everybody's mad at me and nobody likes me and all that? If that make you grievous, you can't cut it in this word, because you're gonna be sad and depressed and messed up the whole time because nobody want to listen. Statistically, 2/3 ain't gonna listen to anything you say. It don't matter. And then part of that 2/3 are people that may appear like they're gonna listen, but in the end they not. So that's part of his grief. But when you read further, you're going to see what's really causing his grief. A lack of selfishness, a care for his people, and care for his Elohim, and the way he's being esteemed. That's grievous. This is what grieves you when you come in the word, when you see how other people esteem Yahweh. His own people that don't know esteem him. It grieves you. It grieves you because you're seeing how your Elohim is being not esteemed and being blasphemed, but then it also grieves you because then you remember how you were, and you get ashamed of how you were, and ashamed of some of the things that you still do. That's grief. What did Shlomo say? With knowledge and wisdom comes what? Great grief. Not grief, great grief.
Sorrow.
Right. All right.
Verse 20. My tabernacle is spoiled and all my cords are broken. My children are gone forth of me, and they are not. There is none to stretch forth my tent anymore, and to set up my curtains. For the pastors are become brutish and have not sought Yahweh. Therefore they shall not prosper, and all their flocks shall be scattered. Behold, the noise of the bruit is come, and a great commotion out of the north country, to make the cities of Yehuda desolate and a den of dragons.
And when it talks about the pastors are become brutish and have not sought Yahweh, it says, therefore they shall not prosper, and all their flocks shall be scattered. Now, these flocks are being scattered because why stay there? They're going to get slaughtered there. Push them out. Get them out. They're in danger. If you're a pastor, which is basically a shepherd, somebody that leads you, if this person leads you and he's a hireling, as soon as that wolf comes out, he gone. So the sheep are scattered. And that wolf, what does it say? The adversary is a roaring lion, a roaming lion, looking for people to devour. This is why the sheep is scattered. Because you have no shepherd. No shepherd that's going to be like, no, my people are here. You go. I will kill you.
Verse 23. O Yahweh, I know that the way of man is not in himself. It is not in man that walks to direct his steps. O Yahweh, correct me, but with judgment, not in your anger, lest you bring me to nothing. Pour out the fury upon the heathen that know you not, and upon the families that call not on your name. They have eaten up Yaakov, and devoured him, and consumed him, and have made his habitation desolate.
Verse 23, O Yahweh, know that the way of man is not in himself. So stop thinking your heart is pure. It's not in you. It's the righteousness of the spirit of Yasharal that he allows you to have. If you can sanctify yourself and be a sanctified is a sanctuary. A sanctuary is a holy place. A holy place is a place for Yahweh's spirit. So in verse 23, again, the way of a man, woman, child, whatever, is not in himself. It's not in man that walketh to direct his steps. Yahweh directs your steps. Are you going to follow? Just because you see a wicked man doing wickedness don't mean Yahweh not directing his steps. He just ain't following it. Either Yahweh is directing himself into repentance. He decide he don't want to repent. So he go the other way. So Yahweh's like, you want to do wickedness? Then wickedness it is. I'll sell you to all the vanity and all the false doctrine you want. There it is. Go get it. All right, let's go. Let's move on to Mishlei chapter 6. Proverbs chapter 6. Now we know that sin's all, a little bit of leaven leavens the whole lump. But we understand that no matter how hard we try, there's no way now, in the condition we are, that we'll be able to be 100% perfect in this law. There's still so much we learn, and we learn in little things in the word, just little language things like babies. So this parts of the law we're not going to understand, and we won't understand until we're in the land and we're actually around things and things make sense. So in the meantime, you do the best you can. And if you want to start with something, start with his abominations and say, look, these are the things that Yahweh says abominations. Let me get away from those things and work your way out. Start with the weightier matters of the law and move your way out, which is judgment, mercy, and faith. Start with those things and move your way out. Judgment, judge yourself that you be not judged. Have mercy when your brother or sister sin against you. Have mercy and pray for your enemy, because they're your enemy when they in the spirit of the adversary, the devil. That's where that sleeping with the enemy comes. That whole statement, right? And faith. Have faith. I know that I can't get past this. Well, I don't like using that word can't, but I'm having trouble getting past this sin, this same thing that's been plaguing me for years. But I have faith that I'm trying and I'm making a little bit of progress. And I know at the end of the race, I'm going to be there. I'm going to make it because I have faith in you. And how I know I have faith? Because I have works. That's how I show you my faith. And I have fruit. So Proverbs, Mishlei, chapter 6. And we're going to start this at verse 1. And the title of this little subsection they call Parental Warnings. All right, verse 1.
My son, if you be surety for your friend, if you have stricken your hand with a stranger, You are snared with the works of your mouth. You are taken with the words of your mouth.
How are you going to make a deal in surety for some random person you have absolutely no idea? No, this dude, he's cool. I know him. You just met the dude in the parking lot, and you just was a reference for this guy to get a job with you, to work with you at a job. But then the guy come on a job, he a damn crack addict, and you end up losing your job with him. And that happened with your own friends, but you gonna do that with a stranger?
Verse 3. Do this now, my son, and deliver yourself. And when you come into the land of your friend, go, and it's in the hand of your friend, go humble yourself, and make sure your friend. Give not sleep to your eyes, nor slumber to your eyelids. Deliver yourself as a roe from the hand of the hunter, and as a bird from the hand of the fowler. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provides her meat in the summer, and gathers her food in the harvest. How long will you sleep, O sluggard? When will you arise out of your sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep, so shall poverty come as one that travaileth.
Travaileth.
Mm-hmm. And thy want as an armed man.
Right. So shall your poverty come as one that travaileth. One that is, woe is me, things are bad. Okay, so that's how faster your poverty will come up. And actually, let's check the Strongs on that. What's the Strongs on that word?
1980.
Let's make sure we're getting a good understanding of that. What's this definition?
Halak, akin, to walk. Great variety of application, literally and figuratively, along, pace, behave, come, continually, conversant, depart, ease, forward, up, on, about.
Okay, so it is traveling. Okay. Go ahead, continue, brother.
So shall thy poverty come as one that travels. I guess you gone.
Right, you gone. You ain't at home taking care of your responsibilities. So you're gonna run out of money. You out here spending money here, buying this here, treating this person here, doing this and doing that. But who's tending to your vineyard?
Right, just living.
Right. You spending your inheritance, but who's tending to your vineyard?
Who's that? Verse 12.
Verse 12.
A naughty person, a wicked man, walks with a froward mouth. He winks with the eyes, he speaks with his feet, he teaches with his fingers. Frowardness is in his heart, he devises mischief, continually he sows discord. Therefore shall his calamity come suddenly. Suddenly shall he be broken without remedy. These 6 things does Yahweh hate, yea, 7 are abominations to him. A proud look, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked imaginations, feet that be swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaks lies, and he that sows discord among brethren. Okay, so let's go over those. 6 things does Yahweh hate, 7 are abomination unto him. A proud look. Now, how can a proud look be bad? Well, first of all, a proud look, if you proud looking on the outside, then you ain't humble in the inside. Because if you upset, it's going to show in your face, right? When you're happy, it's going to show in your face. And you have to work to not show that. You have to work to not give your cards. Not you have a poker face. But when you got a proud look, it's because you proud inside. You think you better than people. And people are like, you know what? I want to ask that brother for help, but he too proud. Look at that. I don't want to ask him for nothing, man, because look at him. He's going to look down at me. You're supposed to carry your brother's burdens. We carry each other's burdens. Now, a lying tongue, that's the adversary of the devil. He doing the works of his father. That's plain and simple. Hands that shed innocent blood. There has to be atonement for that. Who are you shedding innocent blood for? Blood is for the remission of sin or a sealing of a covenant. Not innocent people. You are touching the apple of Yahweh's eye when you shed innocent blood. A heart that deviseth wicked imaginations. Why? It starts with the heart. In your heart. And devise wicked imaginations. Because it starts in your head. What I learned with my biggest issue with lusting after women is, like we was at the gym the other day. I said I did good. I didn't turn my head.
Because it starts with your imagination. When you look at that, then you start devising wicked imaginations. Why? Because the flesh is like, ooh, wouldn't it be fun? Wouldn't it feel good? Wouldn't it be nice if I did this or I did that?
But he held it down.
I held it down. That moment, for that time. And when you devise, or when you have a wicked imagination, again, it starts in your head. Everything starts in your head. Before you steal something, you have to covet something. You have to look at something and say, you know what? That woman right there, that belonged to that brother. I can go find me my own woman. It look just like her. She might even have a sister, younger sister. But no, I want that brother's wife. So you have to start coveting, which is an evil desire for something that doesn't belong to you. Then the coveting goes to stealing. So the stealing is the act. The coveting is just the wanting in your eyes. The sleeping with the woman is manifestation of the coveting and having an evil and wicked imagination. Then the next one, feet, and we're in Proverbs chapter 6, and we're going over those abominations. Verse 18, it says, feet that be swift in running mischief. Because you always causing problems. When you cause a problem in somebody's life, you can catch them off guard. They're in a weakened state because they're in a traumatic situation. They're being bothered. Their temper is up, or they're sad, or whatever. They're not in their normal state. So they're more likely to fall into some kind of sin, some trap to the flesh, because the flesh is not average state. It's more than what it is. Whether you're overly angry or overly sad or just frustrated or whatever the case may be. And this is what feet that run a mischief do. They always cause some kind of problem. You can't have peace. Again, they doing the work of their father, the adversary, the devil. It says, false witness that speaketh lies. Because your job is to speak truth. Because that's what the Father is, truth. So your job, especially as a priest of Yahshua, is to come to you about the law at your mouth. And say that you 100% good with the law. You can tell anybody and quote the law, all 613, and snap of a finger, verses and everything. And people come to you and ask you stuff. But then they're asking you about this. Well, you know, I've been in the Word about 30 years. Dude, you 33. How you been in the Word 30 years? Well, you know, I started young. Man, you couldn't even read. How you was in the Word? So now you're trying to tell them, hey, brother, hey, you can't do that. You can't do that. It's a Shabbat today. Because it's Feast of Trumpets. I know it's not a Sabbath day, but it's a Shabbat. It's a Shabbathon. Man, shut up, man. That dude, he just don't want me to go do this right now because he was going to buy that. So now you can't even do your job because they can't trust your word. And somebody's life depends on it, but you have created such a bad image for yourself in Yahweh by blaspheming him through your actions that people don't want to listen to you. Oh, he worship Yahweh? These are a bunch of liars. Why would I believe his word? All they people liars.
And then, brother,
go ahead.
About that proud look we're talking about, reminded me when the scripture was like, the women of Zion are haughty. You know,
mincing, twinkling as they go.
And you can almost look on their faces and they see within their heart, like, I'm the baddest. You know? They go by the head and mean it. And then imagine you go to talk or approach them, and it's like all contention. There's no peace, no shalom whatsoever. So that proud look, if anyone didn't understand, it's easy to identify with certain females with some dudes like, man, she just looks thing. I don't want to talk.
Yeah. Or, you know, and why is she proud like that? Well, because my weave is all the way down here. Not her hair, my weave. I got this Prada purse. You know, I'm driving this nice car. My man, a football player. I got 6 degrees in a job. What you do? Wow. You know, all that pride. Now, it ain't just the sisters now. The brothers the same way, you know. Look at my whip. Look at my rims. Look at my car. Look at my diamonds. Look at my girl. You know, look at all this. I'm better than you. Nah, bruh. Nah, you can't even deal with me. I can't even hang with you because you ain't got that. You poor. You know, I don't want to talk to my friends from the old neighborhood because now I'm educated. I'm around all these Alpha Phi Alpha and Kappa Alpha Psi and all this, acting brand new. That proud look. But at the core of things, what make you better than your brother? What all these things that you got that make you proud, what does it do for somebody else? It's not helping your nation. At the end of the day, whatever you have or whatever you do, if it don't help your nation, then what is it for? Even helping your family is helping your nation. Because that family got to grow up. She's going to be a wife one day. She's going to be a husband one day. He's going to be a priest one day. All right. And do we go through all of them? And false witness that speaketh lies. We went over that. And he that soweth discord among brethren. And why that one is so wicked. He said 7 of them are abomination. It is so wicked to sow discord among brethren, because where does the Spirit go? There I am. What's the beginning of that? 2 or 3 or more are gathered in my name, there I am. You sowing discord, people split up. I'm over here by myself. I can't deal with that, bro. I'm over here by myself because I don't like him. I don't like her. She too pretty. Whatever. You know, discord. Now the Spirit can't come together, and I can't pick up the peace from you that I was supposed to receive in the Spirit. You can't pick up the peace from me, and the Spirit suffers. Because y'all can't get along, not because this person or that person don't like each other, because that person in between is like, I don't want them two to get together because I got a problem with him. So let me sow some discord so that he'll see you don't want to mess with me, because there ain't nobody going to want to mess with you. Yahweh hates that. And then you're going to do that in the congregation on top of that? People playing with fire. Go ahead and continue.
Verse 20. My son, keep your father's commandment and forsake not the law of your mother.
Who's your father?
Yahweh.
Who's your mother?
Church.
Jerusalem. The church. Exactly. Verse 21.
Bind them continually upon your heart, and tie them about your neck. When you go, it shall lead you. When you sleep, it shall keep you. And when you awaken, it shall talk with you. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is a light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life.
That's highlighted. That was one of those first things that I went through. For the commandment is a lamp. The lamp, and what's in the lamp? The law is the light. So there's a difference between the commandment and the law. And reproofs of instruction. Remember we went over that word instruction, how it basically means chastisement in this word? Are the way of life. Because those things are to stop you from dying. So that you don't be like the guy that just wake up and be in poverty. And poverty does not only mean being broke. It also means being broke spiritually. Where you lose what you do know. And it just like that, creep up on you. Just like that. Because we don't want to take the instruction. We don't want to take the reproofs. We just want the blessings. Verse 24.
To keep you from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman.
And that strange woman is doctrine. He's not picking on women. Yahweh don't pick on women. When he's talking about strange women, he's spiritually talking about these doctrines, these vain doctrines of these heathens around us, this pagan worship.
Lust not after her beauty in your heart, neither let her take you with her eyelids. For by means of a whorish woman a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. Can a man take fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burned? Can one go up on hot coals and his feet not be burned?
So, can a man take fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burned? Now, if fire get on you, you get off real quick and you might get a little stain or something. You ain't gonna be, but take some fire and put it in your bosom and see what happens. Eventually, you're gonna catch a fire. So, this fire out here are also these people around you These people that have no concern for the law, no concern for the Most High, the Creator, and they're free. The only concern is to satisfy their flesh. If that means doing something that doesn't harm you, then that's fine with them. But they just want to satisfy their flesh. So we have to learn to be around them people, because it's not that we're supposed to just completely separate. That's if we in our land. Stay the hell away. You want to come in here, you buy this. If not, go out there. And I ain't going out there. I'm staying right here. And when I do go out there, I'm not dealing with what you deal with. Because every day, all day, I'm around my people all day. So I'm used to it. I'm good. Furthermore, if I do something, one of my brothers going to say, hey, what you doing? But we're not in that scenario. We're in the opposite scenario. They are in a family of wickedness, and we the ones trying to attain a righteousness, that have a little piece of righteousness in the spirit that Yahweh allowed us, and we trying to not keep them. But we have to be around them. So we have to take that. Am I taking fire in my bosom, or am I ministering unto somebody, or am I being a light to somebody? I might be like, okay, well, I don't know. I'm just going to stand here as a light. I'm going to speak. I'm going to say what I need to say. And if anybody's looking for the light, guess what? They'll notice it. They have eyes to see. That is how we're supposed to be around people. Not hanging around people that are doing wickedness. Because if we hanging around you and your wickedness, then we basically saying, you don't got to do it. You'll be all right. I just do it because it's cool. But you ain't got to do it. Why? Because I still hang with you. So if I hang with you and Yahweh chose you, then why will Yahweh choose me? He chose you, obviously, according to you. And then you hanging out with me. So you're an extension of him. So I guess it's not that bad. Because you're not going to hang about that other guy over there. That other guy, he's really wicked. He killed 5 people. I killed 2 people, but that was when I got jumped in. That was it. That's how the mind thinks. It thinks in relation, in comparison. Go ahead and continue, brother.
Verse 29. So that he goes unto his neighbor's wife. Whosoever touches her shall not be innocent. Men do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his soul when he's hungry. But if he be found, he shall restore 7-fold. He shall give all the substance of his house.
So the judgment is not the same. It's different. Yahweh takes the intent of why you did what you did. There's a difference between Dawid sending a man out to die so he could take his wife, and Moshe killing a man because he was oppressing his brother. Both is wicked. Both was against the law, but it's judged differently. Judged differently. And on top of it, there's 2 different people. We try that. We might not be so blessed. These people are ordained, preordained for us to read about them.
Verse 31. But if he be found, he shall restore 7-fold. He shall give all the substance of his house. But whoso commits adultery with the woman lacks understanding. He that does it destroys his own soul. A wound and dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. For jealousy is the rage of a man. Therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance.
Did not Yahweh say, I'm a jealous Elohim? What are you jealous for? You jealous of his kids? You jealous of his wife, Yasharal. How dare you go cheat on me with something that don't even exist? Can you imagine this? That your wife or your girlfriend or whatever the case, you're in a committed relationship, and some commercial or something come on the TV with some fake guy like, oh yeah, you know, I love, and it's supposed to be a joke. Oh, I love me some beautiful black women, man, and I got plenty of money, and if any woman, I can't find a date. If any woman comes see me, then, you know, I'm going to marry him and give him a whole bunch of money. And joke. Commercial cuts off, you change the channel, it comes on. Oh, this is stupid. Would you believe that? No. Okay. Well, don't believe this stupid stuff. It's just a commercial. And then your wife, she out there standing on that corner waiting patiently for this guy every day. You like, you know that's not real, right? And she cheating on you and trying her hardest to be chosen. That's something that don't even exist. And you telling her, look, this is a commercial. I believe it. Nope. How jealous and angry will that make a man? So in your heart, you want to cheat. So in your heart, you want to worship something other than truth. And that's what we have to come to grips with. Our flesh wants to worship whatever we think is going to make us feel good, whether it's real or not. It don't matter. If it make us feel good, we good. And this is my opinion and not in the word, but I believe that's why Yahweh chose the man to be the priest. Because the woman has a difficulty making decisions not based on her emotions. Not that she can't. And I do believe with single mothers, Yahweh will allow an extra portion of spirit to give her a little bit better decision making because there's no husband there. Again, that's just my personal opinion because that's what we tend to run into. And the man on the other side tends to be emotionless. No, all of them got to die. Every last one. Kill him. But sorry, we ain't going to make it up this mountain. You're going to have to cut the rope. Kids, sorry. You got to go. No, kill my baby. There's got to be a way. Nah, there's no other way. There's no other way. Did you do the other rope that you packed in the other book bag? Oh, yeah, okay. Well, hey, Timmy, I don't think, you know, Daddy was playing. Here, grab this rope. It's a balance. Because we so methodical and non-emotion and everything. And that's why it was not meet for us to be alone. But certain people were chosen for certain leadership roles. Let's go ahead and finish, brother.
This is verse 35. He will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content, though you give many gifts.
All right.
Also, with the,
go ahead.
The jealousy and rage thing, you know, as far as our heart always wants to go whoring after other stuff, Yahweh is also jealous for, you know, the upkeeping of his law and the upkeeping of his word. And when we go whoring and do other stuff, that will provoke the jealousy.
That's worship of another God. Because what the adversary, the devil, said, all this is yours. All you have to do is fall down. Intentionally fall, not slip. All you have to do is slip on a rock by accident. No, fall down. Just like we do every sabu. Fall down, left, right, front falls, back falls, no-handed back falls, tumbling, all those different things, right? That's in purpose. But what do? We get back up. We don't lay on the floor and stay there. We get back up. That's what a righteous man does. As a righteous man falls 7 times, but he gets back up. The adversary, the devil, told Yahshua straight up, fall down and worship me. He gave his instructions how you worship me. Fall down. Commit these sins. Do that is not right. I don't care if you do what's right sometimes. And that's worshiping Yahweh. You can worship him too. I don't care. But fall down and worship me. All right. Let's move on to Leviticus chapter 11. Wayakra chapter 11. Well, praise God.
Says right there, say, you know, by means of a whorish woman is a man reduced to a piece of bread. So that means men too, because it points out the harlotry of a female. But men too need to be wise. Make sure you're not purposely walking into, you know, destruction. That's something I deal with a lot. You know, being a single male, I'd be like, man, I could just fall down and just be like, man, let me just grab this one here. But I know this person his heart is not with Yahweh. The fear of Yahweh is not in this woman's heart.
Right.
Her heart will go whoring after whatever looks more beneficial, whether it be a richer man, whether it be a cuter dude, whether it be a dude that already got his own place, whatever it may be. Her heart will whore after the getting a better position.
Right.
The Yahweh spirit is not going to have her retain with me wherever I'm at.
This book is catered towards the lawgivers, priests. At one time, the priests were the only ones that had this. So when you best believe a good large percentage of the time when he's talking about a whorish woman, he's not talking about an XX chromosome. He's talking about the XY chromosome, the man. If those science people, XX is the genetics for a woman. XY is the genetics for a man. So when he's talking about a whorish woman, a lot of the time he's talking about the priests of Yasharal, the men. Because we are married as a nation and the men represent the family, represent the nation. So while brothers quick to pull the scripture out to bash women, Yahweh dealing with the man.
Yeah.
The woman gonna get punished too. But we got kicked out of the garden not because Eve ate of that fruit. But nigga, you ate of that fruit. I told you. You did that. You could have came to me and just got some judgment. I'd rather be judged by the law rather than perish without the law. We perished without the law and died because of that. But we could have been judged. He could have said, you know what? Because of that, thorns and thistles in the ground. You're going to have to work a little bit harder. But you can stay in the garden. But no, you were disobedient. You ate of that fruit too. She got fooled. You didn't get fooled. You did that out of disobedience. Well, you know, my husband said, but she got fooled. Not the man. He knew better. He talked to Yahweh face to face. He didn't talk to that serpent. But he's like, oh, well, you know, he do like most men do to them. Hey, you know, my wife doing it, so you know, I'm not really a leader. You know, I'm just the stronger guy. You know. All right, let's go to Leviticus chapter 11, and part of this being sanctified is what you put in your body. You are what you eat, literally. Because what's in the flesh? In the flesh is blood. In the flesh is DNA of what you're eating. So, like Malcolm X put it perfect, you eat the pig is sloppy. The pig is lazy. The pig is unclean. The pig don't care. It's selfish. It eat its own brother to eat the food of its own brother and eat that. And eat his brother himself. So if you digest those things, and you ingesting that, putting it in your body, you putting that spirit of that animal in your body. Wayakra chapter 11, Leviticus, start at verse 1.
And Yahweh spoke unto Moshe and to Aaron, saying unto them, Speak to the children of Yasharal, saying, These are the beasts which you shall eat among the beasts that are on the earth. Whatsoever parts the hoof and is cloven-footed and chews the cud among the beasts, that you shall eat. Nevertheless, these shall you not eat of them that chew the cud, nor of them that divide the hoof, as the camel, because he chews the cud but divides not the hoof. He is unclean to you. And the coney, because he chews the cud but divides not the hoof, he is unclean to you. The hare, because he chews the cud but divides not the hoof, he is unclean to you. And the swine, though he divide the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he chews not the cud, he is unclean to you. Of their flesh shall you not eat, and their carcass shall you not touch, they are unclean to you. These shall you eat that are in the waters, whatsoever has fins and scales in the waters and the seas, and in the rivers, them shall you eat.
So that's the easy one. If you're looking for poisonous fish, does it have fins and scales? If it's got fins and scales, then it's probably going to be non-poisonous. Because if that was the case, Yahweh would have put that in here. Don't eat that. So you don't have to be some Scientologist to figure this out. You know, join some fake religion to get some knowledge of what you can eat or you can't eat. It's pretty simple. Of the clean creatures, you got the ox, the sheep, the lambs, the goats, the mountain sheep, wild goats, roebuck, which are gazelles, pygarg, antelopes, hart, which is deer. And then on the unclean, you camels, rock badgers, hares, rabbits, swine, lizards, weasels, which we're going to get into a little bit later. And with the fish, it's easy. It's simple. Can we eat clams? Does it have fins or scales? No, you can't eat it. Point blank. Now, Yahweh said, my people are sottish, which means stupid. He's not going to make it that difficult for you. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 10. And all these that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of every living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination to you.
So we're supposed to be clean, which is holy and sanctified and set apart. And we eating something that eats crap, something that eats dead bodies, because that's what these are. They're bottom feeders or ravenous animals that eat other animals and have the blood of the diseases in the blood of other animals inside of it. And you eating that like those birds that eat things with blood in it. You can't eat that. Now you put that inside your body. You put something that is physically unclean, not even just spiritually unclean, but just it's a nasty creature. And you put that in your body. You have put nastiness in your body. You nasty.
Verse 11. They shall be even an abomination to you. You shall not eat of their flesh. You shall have their carcasses an abomination. Whatsoever has no fins nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination to you. And these are they which you shall have an abomination among the fowls. They shall not be eaten, they are abomination. The eagle, and the ossifrage, and the osprey, and the vulture, and the kite after this kind, every raven after this kind, and the owl, and the nighthawk, and the cuckoo, and the hawk after his kind, and the little owl, and the cormorant, and the great owl.
All ravenous birds.
And the swan, and the pelican, and the gier eagle, and the stork, and the heron after her kind, and the lapwing, and the bat. All fowls that creep on upon all four shall be an abomination to you. Yet these may you eat of every flying creeping thing that goes upon all four, which have legs above their feet, to leap withal upon the earth. Even these of them you may eat, the locust after his kind, and the ball locust after his kind, and the beetle after his kind, and the grasshopper after his kind. But all other flying creeping things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination to you.
So again, most birds, quails, doves, pigeons, locusts, crickets, grasshoppers, katydids, some beetles, and chamois. I don't know what chamois is, but and even beetles, certain beetles. You gotta be real careful because some things in here that they claim is one thing. You gotta see, does it meet the requirement? Because these are translations. They're telling you they have 4 feet, they jump upon his legs, this, that, and the other. So if this thing got a bunch of feet and all kind of stuff and hard, you might not be able to eat that.
Verse 23, but all other flying creeping things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination to you. And for these you shall be unclean. Whoever touches the carcass of them shall be unclean until the evening. And whosoever bears part of the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening. The carcasses of every beast which divides the hoof, and is not cloven-footed nor chews the cud, are unclean to you. Everyone that touches them shall be unclean. And whatsoever goes upon his paws, among all manner of beasts that go on all 4, those are unclean to you. Whoso touch their carcass shall be unclean until the evening. And he that bears the carcass of them shall wash his clothes, and be unclean till the evening. They are unclean to you. These also shall be unclean unto you among the creeping things that creep on the earth, the weasel, and the mouse, and the tortoise after his kind, and the ferret, and the chameleon, and the lizard, and the snail, and the mole. These are unclean to you among all that creep. Whosoever does touch them, and they be dead, shall be unclean till the evening.
Now, if you touch the carcass of that thing, and it makes you unclean until the evening. You have to wash yourself, you're unclean until the evening. Well, imagine if you ingest it. How long does that take to get out your body? Our bodies, from all this preservatives and all the crap they got in the foods now, our bodies, we don't even get rid of the stuff we've eaten for years. It takes years sometimes to get the stuff out. We getting rid of old stuff. But you're not even supposed to touch it. You touch it, you unclean. But how long are you going to be unclean when you put that in your body? Now, technically, you repent, whatever, you wash yourself and you try not to do it again. You should be unclean. But how long are your thoughts going to be unclean? Because you got this wicked thing in your body going all through your bloodstream and all into your brain and whatever kind of diseases and things that our technology hasn't even figured out yet. That's going on through your body. You don't know. And why would he want to reside in a temple that's filthy? Would you? You ain't going to a church and you walk up. I don't care what religion you are or what faith you are. You walk up in a church, it's nasty. Church of the projects. And you look around and there's crap, there's roaches everywhere. Man, I don't care how much faith you have. You ain't coming back there.
Verse 32. And upon whatsoever any of them, when they are dead, thus falls, it shall be unclean. Whether it be any vessel of wood or raiment or skin or sack, whatsoever vessel it be, wherein any work is done, it must be put into water, and it shall be unclean till the evening, so it shall be cleansed. And every earthen vessel where any of them falls, whatso is in it, shall be unclean, and you shall break it. Of all meat which may be eaten, that on which such water comes shall be unclean, and all drink that may be drunk in every such vessel shall be unclean. And everything whereupon any part of the carcass falls shall be unclean, whether it be oven or ranges for pots. They shall be broken down, for they are unclean, and shall be unclean to you.
So we can't touch other things that you cook with. And a perfect example of that, today I went to Publix to get a lunch, like a little sandwich. And they had something new. Well, it was new to me. They had jerk turkey, right, for a sandwich. So I was like, the girl in front was getting, I was like, yeah, I didn't know that. Let me get that too. But on the other side, there was ham on the same thing. So she's making two sandwiches. She puts the ham down and she takes the jerk turkey. She's putting it. I'm like, can you please move my turkey from touching the pork? And she said, oh, I'm sorry. You don't eat pork? I was like, nah. So she made the sandwich, the ham sandwich. And then when she came to making my sandwich, she even said, well, let me take off the gloves. And I was like, man, I'll remember that next time. I never even thought about that. Because she using her gloves to touch the ham and then using the same gloves to touch the turkey. So it's not supposed to touch. Them gloves got to go, or it can't at least touch my food. So that reminded me of this principle right here about the touching. You don't even want it to touch. It don't take much. If somebody can sneeze around you and you get sick, it don't take much to actually touch flesh. Exposed flesh, touching exposed flesh. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 36. Nevertheless, a fountain or pit where there is plenty of water shall be clean. But that which touches their carcass shall be unclean. And if any part of their carcass fall upon any sowing seed, which is to be sown, it shall be clean. But if any water be put upon the seed, and any part of the carcass fall thereon, it shall be unclean to you. And if any beast of which you may eat die, he that touched the carcass thereof shall be unclean until the evening. And he that eats of the carcass of it shall wash his clothes, and be unclean until the evening. He also that bears the carcass of it shall wash his clothes, and be unclean until the evening. And every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth shall be an abomination, it shall not be eaten. Whatsoever goes upon the belly, whatsoever goes upon all four, or whatsoever has more feet among all creeping things that creep on the earth, them you shall not eat, for they are an abomination. You shall not make yourselves abominable with any creeping thing that creeps, neither shall you make yourselves unclean with them, that you should be defiled thereby. For I am Yahweh your Elohim. You therefore shall sanctify yourselves, and you shall be holy, for I am holy. Neither shall you defile yourselves with any manner of creeping thing that creeps upon the earth. For I am Yahweh that brings you up out of the land of Egypt to be your Elohim. You shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. This is the law of the beasts of the fowl, and of every living creature that moves in the waters, and of every creature that creeps upon the earth.
All right, let's stop right there. Okay, so it says, I am holy, so you be holy. So let's look at this definition of holy. Holy is H6918, Kadash, Qadosh, and there's many derivatives of Kadash or Kadash, but it's from H6942, sacred, ceremonially or morally, as noun, Elohim by eminence, an angel, a saint or sanctuary, holy one, saint. And the root word of Kadash is Kadash, which is H6942. A primitive root, to be, causatively make, pronounce, or observe as clean, ceremonially or morally, appoint, bid, consecrate, dedicate, defile, hallow, be, keep, holy, place, keep, prepare, proclaim, purify, sanctify, holy. So Yahweh is clean. He's a clean. There's nothing wicked in him. There's nothing that would cause somebody to be unclean if they touched him or if they heard him or did anything like that. It's perfect. It's a perfect example of how we attain to be in the spirit. So he's that way. We are his children. We are his wife. We are his selected. We are his nation. We have to be a reflection of that. If I am a good person, my children are supposed to be a reflection of me. That way, when my children are out in the street doing wickedness, when I come around and say, no, I'm a good person. Well, you're not a good father. Look at your children. It's an example of you. So this is how we blaspheme Yahweh's name, because we are named after him and we carry ourselves in an unholy manner. Now, let's go ahead and finish that.
Verse 46. This is the law of the beast and the fowl, and of every living creature that moves in the waters, and of every creature that creeps upon the earth, to make a difference between the unclean and the clean. and between the beast that may be eaten and the beast that may not be eaten.
All right, so to make a difference between the unclean and clean, not only is the law, but again, also in the law is also us, according to the law. We're supposed to be that example. You should be able to follow me around and be clean. Because all I got to do is do what the priests do. Any one of us, any one of our priests. And a priest is anybody that's technically 20 years and above. 30 years for doing holy things. 50 years for ministering with your brethren. But from 20 years as an adult, people should be able to follow you and somewhat be clean because, hey, he's going to carry himself in a certain manner. So this is something we have all the control in the world of not eating this and not eating that. Now, another reason why we pray is they put all kind of stuff in the food. We got to do our due diligence. They create gelatin out of pork. That doesn't mean you can't eat gelatin. They got other gelatin that they make out of seaweed. But you got to be diligent and study and look and observe and try to make sure you're doing the best you can. But even that, if they got a machine on this side, they just started doing that, saying, well, this machine also makes shellfish and this, that, and other stuff. And they put the little symbol on it and warn you. But that's only on certain products. There's other products that they might be manufacturing pork chops or pork gum or pork gelatin or whatever going through a little assembly line, and right next to it is the beef product. We don't know that. And that's why sometimes you can't even explain it why your stomach gets sick. And you're like, I didn't eat anything unclean. Or you go out to a barbecue and they cook you some ribs. And they say, no, these are beef ribs. Oh, okay, these are beef. I can go ahead and eat it. We don't want to ask no questions because we want to eat them damn beef ribs. But we need to ask them, hey, did you cook that on that same grill with that pork? Okay, I appreciate it, brother, but I can't eat that. Flesh don't want to listen to that. Flesh want to try to pull a scripture out and say, just eat whatever's put in front of you. And we're going to get into that too. All right. Now let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 8. And let's address that eating stuff that's given to you. Because at the end of the day, brothers and sisters, man, we'll find any excuse to do whatever wickedness we want. We'll go in this book and try to make all kind of things apply so that we don't have to sanctify ourselves. And that's the sad reality. And when you start to make some progress is when you can start to notice that in yourself. You say, you know what? No, you gainsaying right now. You're just trying to find a way to do this wickedness. You justifying your own wickedness. You found a ransom for sin. And that is when you make progress. Does that mean you're not going to do the thing that you shouldn't do? No. Again, wicked imagination starts the wicked deed. Well, a righteous imagination starts the righteous deed. You have to first admit to yourself that you're doing something wrong. And that's why when I deal with people, they get angry with me when I'm making them say what they don't want to admit. Because that's part of the repentance, is first acknowledging. You can't get forgiven for something if you haven't acknowledged it. Because you're just going to do it again. Well, I'm going to forgive you. You're just going to do it again. So the first step is to say, okay, I know that this is wicked. I'm not Yahweh. I'm not even going to try to justify it. But I'm asking for your help. I'm trying to get past this. Help me. Or all right, I'm going to do it. But I'm wean off this. I'm going to slow down. I can't give up that crab yet. But I'm going to stop this pork. I'm going to stop this pork. Okay, I gave up the crab. I can't give up that shrimp yet. Okay, I'm giving up the shrimp. I'm giving up the shrimp. Or at least once in a blue moon. And you see brothers like that. I don't bash them. I'm like, it's still wicked. But hey, at least you're trying. At least you're trying. Eventually, you taking those steps closer to the Most High, you're going to be ashamed to do something like that. How would I do that to my Father? I don't even own this temple. This is his temple. That's like I let you borrow my car and you bring crackheads and gonorrhea women with no panties to sit in where my baby seat is.
Oh my God. So unclean.
You know how unclean and wicked that is? You wouldn't feel bad? Well, that's how you're supposed to feel with Yahweh. Yahweh gave you this beautiful, especially if you were beautiful or handsome brother or a healthy person without problems, and Yahweh gave you, you see your brothers and sisters suffer around you with all kind of ailments and stuff, but you healthy and you intelligent and you're living a good life and you're okay, and you're going to repay the Father for giving. And he could have gave you that fat, out of shape, retarded, one arm having body and make you walk in that uniform until you go into the kingdom. When you go, if you make it to the kingdom, all that will be fixed. But he could have left you with that. So he gave you this beautiful creation, and you telling me you won't at least esteem it the right way? But we don't view it that way. We view it as mine. I do what I want to do. 1 Corinthians chapter 8 and the start at verse 1.
Now as touching things offered to idols, we know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge puffs up, but charity edifies. And if any man think he knows anything, he knows nothing as he ought to know. But if any man love Elohim, the same is known of him. As concerning therefore the eating of those things that are offered in sacrifice to idols, we know that an idol is nothing in the world, and that there is none other Elohim but one. For though there be that are called deities, whether in heaven or in earth, as there be deities many and masters many, but to us there is but one Elohim, the Father, of whom are all things, and we in him, and one Master, Yahshua Messiah, by whom are all things, and we by him.
And you go back up. This says, for though there be that are called els, or gods, whether in heaven or in earth. So he's saying there are other mighty ones out there, and there be many lords, many masters, many mighty ones, many masters. But there's only one Elohim. There's only one Most High, one Yahweh. We know this. So it's not the same when we do it. But again, I'll be honest with yourself. Let's keep going. Verse 6.
And while I have verse 6 too, how Paul says, there is but one Elohim, the Father, of whom are all things, and we are in him. And one Master, Yahshua, by whom are all things, and we are by him. So we're brought into Yahweh by Yahshua, through
him. You can't bring something fleshly into heaven. It's going to perish. We can't even get past the radiation belt. We're going to die. That's why they got all this fake, oh, we went to the moon. No, you didn't. We can't even get past that radiation belt. You ain't go there. We got machines going there because there ain't no flesh and blood in the machines. But we ain't going there. We gone to the moon, but we ain't been back. Why? Because, we just, budget is tight. I mean, get out of here with that crap, man. Go ahead, brother. Verse 7.
Verse 7. Howbeit, there is not in every man that knowledge. For some with conscience of the idol, unto this hour, eat it as a thing offered unto an idol, and their conscience being weak is defiled.
So there's people that believe, this is for Jesus. I really believe, in Jesus' name we eat this food. Jesus, the name, the deity wasn't even around until the 17th century. So we know this. We like, all right. But they don't know it. So now they see you eating it. They're like, wow, even this Hebrew's eating to Jesus' name. See, didn't I tell you? Look, and you see, he won't eat in Allah's name. He won't eat with Buddha. But you see, watch. Look, he ate that pork chop. Look at it. He ate the pork chop. See, pork ain't all that bad. So you got liberty to sit down and eat because it's just a piece of meat. And furthermore, has that mentioned any unclean food in here since we've been reading? In this verse? In this chapter? No. It said meat offered to idols. It didn't say nothing about unclean meat offered to idols. That's not even a question. Peter said straight up, Cephas, no, I've never eaten anything common or unclean. What you mean eat this? What, you stupid? I'm not doing that. And then he's like, no, I'm not talking about that. Call no man common or unclean. So it was never a question. So when we reading, because we lost our heritage, certain things aren't common sense to us. Eating with unwashing hands. Somehow people took that and applied that to eating pork. When he said eating with unwashing hands, he didn't have to say it. Well, you can't eat pork, but anything else you eat, is coming out. That's not what defiled. He didn't have to say that. They knew that. That's why he said, do not go into them Gentiles or the Samaritans. Go into the lost sheep of the house of Yasharah. Because they know the laws. He can talk. I don't have to sit here and explain 50,613 commandments to you. They already know. All I have to do is explain the spirit of the law to you. Well, brother, yes, that's true. But in this scenario, you going to let this brother bleed to death because you don't want to be unclean from blood? You going to let this brother starve to death because you don't want to go, go walk down there and get him some food? You don't want to travel, but you got the money? You don't want to spend the money and buy something to heal this guy who's bleeding to death? You have liberty to do good deeds in the law. The law was made rigid like that because we were stupid. Go ahead.
Verse 8. But meat commends us not to Elohim. For neither, if we eat, are we better?
Nope.
Neither, if we eat not, are we the worse. But take heed, lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak.
You have to think about others. I know this crap. I know Jesus ain't real. Yeshua is very real. I know him. He dwells in me. But that ain't real. So Yahweh knows in my actions. He knows in my thoughts. And y'all know in my mouth that I don't believe in y'all crap. I'm going to eat. But what about the guy way down there that don't know you? And he see you and your fringes on and all this stuff. Well, I guess it's okay. I was on the line. I don't know. You a stumbling block from that brother, or a person that you've been telling, no, you can't eat this food that is to these idols. You can't do that. You know that's wicked, right? Then you turn around and he see you walking. Oh, you over here at the Christmas party at work. Ah, so you eating the Christmas food. And he in Hebrew. Hypocrite. Ah, so I guess this Yahweh ain't all that real either, because if he was real as he said he was, he'd fear him. So you don't use your liberty for an occasion of the flesh. You use it to help somebody. If you can not eat, don't eat. Just so you make sure you're showing somebody, look, that is fake. That is not real. I esteem my Elohim too much. Now you starving to death. That's a different story. You've been traveling and you're weak and you got to go do some physical work, whatever. Hey, listen, I ain't got nothing to do with y'all, but I'm not going to offend y'all. I'm going to eat this food and, I have liberty to do that. But I'm just letting you know, I don't esteem Jesus. I'm sorry. If I have to esteem Jesus to eat this food, I'm just going to have to be hungry.
Verse 10. For if any man see you, which have knowledge, sit at meat in the idol's temple, shall not the conscience of him which is weak be emboldened to eat those things which are offered to idols? So
you got another brother in the room, he a new Israelite. And he's still trying to figure out, you run into him on Facebook all the time. They looking for guidance. Is this okay? Is that okay? Is this, that. And that anything that you give them is way more than they had before. And they're just so open and so trusting. And you have to really watch what you do, because if they see you carrying on in public or carrying on this social media acting an ass, they feel like, well, that's what Hebrews do. You're not supposed to stand on the corner and yell at white people? Call them crackers and we're going to rape your children and you're going to be our slaves? That's not what we're supposed to do. But these Hebrews, they not eating pork. This is what we're supposed to do. Be mindful of that. We are lights. This is why we can't just allow people to do wickedness and be like, oh, let them alone. Who cares? Because it affects our whole nation. You might not do it and he talk to you, but then he go around another brother that is in the word and he don't esteem Yahweh. And he do what the hell he want. And this dude picking up all these bad habits because you ain't checked that brother, the other brother. Hey, brother, you can't do that. Go ahead. Let's finish this out.
Verse 11. And through your knowledge shall the weak brother perish, for whom Messiah died. But when you sin so against the brethren and wound your weak conscience, you sin against Messiah. Wherefore, if meat make your brother to offend, I will eat no flesh, while the world stands, lest I make my brother to offend.
All right, so if you have to question it, whether you should eat or not, because some kind of paganry or wickedness is involved, don't eat. My wife will testify. There's plenty of times I done sat there starving and did not eat for my family, because my family was weak. My wife was weak. She was brand new. I don't even know, were you even in the word when we went to funerals and stuff like that? I don't even know. But I said, hey, I'm not going to afflict y'all. Y'all hungry, y'all do whatever. Y'all cover through me. Do what you do. I'll pay for it. I'm going to have to bear that iniquity. I'll take that one. But I ain't going to eat. Y'all, there's been times we've been caught in a bad situation, had to travel on the Sabbath day, and my kids hungry, they starving. I'm not going to suffer my children, make them starve. All right, take the money, you go eat. Daddy not going to eat. Daddy going to sit here and wait till the sun go down. At least my wife think, you know what? What about that time? Because that's what they'll do. Women will bring up that time. Well, what about that time you did that? And you just got to sit there like this. Got him. You know what I'm saying? And you put your tail between your legs and say, all right, well, I got to do better. If you're mature enough, when I first came in, that per se was, it was, see, I was on Jamaican time and we an hour behind and she just like, you see, that's why I ain't following you, because you don't know where you're going. You going here, then you going there. I'll just wait till you get to where you're going, then I'll go. Let's move on to Nehemiah chapter 13, and we're going to deal with the Sabbath day because there's a lot of confusion regarding the Sabbath and what you can do and what you can't do. They say, oh, you can't even kindle a light on the Sabbath and all these different things, different times, different situations. But let's get into the meat. Start with the weightier matters. Then move out. It's way at the beginning, right after Ezra. Okay, cool. Because I have little tabs right here, that's why. Okay. That's one of the books, and I should know it because my name is in Nehemiah.
How far away from it is it, Joshua?
Like maybe a couple chapters. A couple books.
Before or after Ruth?
It's way after Ruth.
Is it after Samuel?
Yeah, it was after Kings, Chronicles, and Ezra. So Chronicles, first and second Chronicles is pretty big. So if you find that, you can move after that. Nehemiah chapter 13, and we are going to start this at verse 1.
On that day, they read in the book of Moshe in the audience of the people, and therein was found written that the Ammonite and the Moabite should not come into the congregation of Elohim forever, because they met not the children of Yasharal with bread and with water, but hired Balaam against them, that he should curse them. Howbeit our Elohim turned the curse into a blessing.
So it says here, the Ammonite or the Moabite, Lot's children, Moab and Ammon, if they shall not enter into the congregation of Elohim forever. So people, go to that law and they look at certain things. Well, what if your mom is an Ammonite? And I don't even know who the Ammonite and Moabites are. It could be. I've heard a whole bunch of theories. But what if your mom is an Ammonite and your dad's an Israelite? Well, you can't come in the congregation forever because it says an Ammonite can't do this and do that. No, you an Israelite. If your daddy Israel, you Israel. I don't care what your mama is. You Israel. Now, if your daddy an Ammonite, but your mama is Israel, you an Ammonite. And according to the letter of this law, you can't come in. It don't matter that your mama's Israel. But fast forward now, we're in the spirit of the law. There was the letter of the law for a reason, and then the spirit of the law was introduced letter and explained letter by Yahshua. And later he explains, if Yahweh does not chasten you, then you are a bastard. You are a bastard because Yahweh is not your father. If Yahweh is not your father, then you have no father. Your father is not Israel. Your father is the adversary of the devil. So look at it from that standpoint. So when you do wickedness, is Yahweh getting your behind? Do you understand that he's getting in your behind? And you're probably a son of Yahshua, whether by bloodline or spiritual. But if you do wickedness and everything is cool with you for the rest of your life till you die, that's the worst curse you can have. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 3. Now it came to pass, when they had heard the law, that they separated from Yahshua all the mixed multitude.
And if you look at mixed multitude, I believe that's Arab. Let me look that up. What's the Strongs for that?
That is 6154.
H6154. Yep, Arab. That's where that term Arab, or we used to call him Arab. That's where Arab comes from. H6154, Arab. The second form used in 1 Kings with the article prefixed from H6148, the web or transverse threads of cloths. Also a mixture or mongrel race. Arabia, mingled people, mixed multitude, woof. So, what was mingled? Moab and Ammon were mingled because they slept with their daughters, slept with their dad, with Lot, and had Moab and Ammon. And the Arab is mixed with what? Ishmael and Esau. Esau is our brother. And Esau, mixed a little bit with some of our people too during the siege in those different times. So that mixed multitude, Arab. So Arab is a little bit more broad than just Arabia. All right, go ahead.
Verse 4. Before this, Eliashib, the priest, having the oversight of the chamber of the house of our Elohim, was allied to Tobiah. And he had prepared for him a great chamber where aforetime they laid the meat offerings.
Jump to verse 15.
Verse 15. In those days saw I in Yehuda some treading the winepress on the Shabbat, and bringing in the sheaves and lading donkeys, also wine, grapes, and figs, and all manner of burdens which they had brought into Jerusalem on the Shabbat day. And I testified against them in the day wherein they sold victuals.
So they're actually doing work, treading winepress, and they may have been doing it for the priest and this, that, and the other. Whatever the case may be, probably not. But they're doing work and bringing burdens, things that cost money, things that take you to do work. And this is supposed to be a day of rest. What did you do those other 6 days of the week? If you was a Levite, you had all week to do this stuff because you a Levite. This is all you do. So you have 6 days to do your work. The seventh day is the Shabbat. You're supposed to rest. That's supposed to already be done, at least by the preparation day. Go ahead. And they sold these things. That was the missing piece. And they sold it on the Sabbath. Why you didn't sell it on the 6th day? Why you selling it on the Sabbath day? You want to sell it on the Sabbath day because it's closed. Everything is closed on the Sabbath day. So you going to make a killing. Hey, you going to buy this Sabbath grapes. It's going to cost you a little bit. Because they're going to try to stone me if they see me doing this. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 16. There dwelt men of Tyre also therein, which brought fish and all manner of ware, and sold on the Shabbat unto the children of Yehuda and in Jerusalem. Then I contended with the nobles of Yehuda and said unto them, what evil thing is this that you do, and profane the Shabbat day?
Tyre. Tyre is, I believe, they're Hamites. What these Hamites doing over here? Why they around your people on the Shabbat? You're supposed to be sanctified. You're supposed to be separate. If you're around your people and your people are doing what they're supposed to be doing, you wouldn't even have the opportunity to do that. So you have on one side, they're moving all these people out the congregation that don't belong here. And then you have this other side, you allowing all these people in here that are bringing all these goods to sell unto your own people on the Sabbath day. Well, he's not Yehudim, so he's working. So I'm not working. No, you causing this dude to profane the Sabbath because he's working on the Sabbath. That's why you can't spend money on the Sabbath day. And it don't matter whether it be a Gentile or your own brother, especially your own brother. Because now you're trying to kill your own brother. That's worse. But this is why we don't spend money. Because you're causing somebody to work. Now, if it's an emergency, you got that liberty. You all right. You in a grace period. Don't make a habit of it. Don't be for the flesh. Because your belly hurt. You couldn't wait a few more hours till the sun go down. Well, don't we go 24 hours without eating and drinking? For atonement? So you can wait a little bit to eat your food and not let your flesh, your belly control you. Go ahead. Verse 17.
Then I contended with the nobles of Yehuda and said unto them, what evil thing is this that you do and profane the Shabbat day? Did not your fathers this, and did not our Elohim bring all this evil upon us and upon this city? Yet you bring more wrath upon Yasharah by profaning the Sabbath.
He gets it. He didn't do it, but y'all doing it. You don't realize we all connected? You don't have to be my brother or my friend or my sister or my wife or if I was a woman, my husband, for me to say something to you, because our whole nation is suffering right now because of what we did, our people. It's the same today. What evil thing is that you do? Did you not your fathers, and did not our Elohim bring all this evil upon us and upon our city? But you want to continue doing the same thing that got us kicked out? And our people refused during the siege to do this and were tortured and murdered. Here, you have the choice to just be like, I'm not going to do it. I'll wait a few hours. But we esteem our Elohim so little that we like, I ain't going to get struck. I'll go repent tomorrow.
Order some pizza tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to order some pizza. Be all right.
Verse 19. And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Shabbat, I commanded the gates.
Stop right there. And it came to pass that when the gate of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath. So when does the day start?
Darkness.
Exactly. The Sabbath day was starting because it was starting to be dark. Go ahead. I commanded them, verse 19.
I commanded them that the gates should be shut, and charged that they should not be opened till after the Sabbath. And some of my servants set I at the gates, that there should be no burden be brought in on the Sabbath day. So the merchants and sellers of all kinds of ware lodged without Jerusalem once or twice. Then I testified against them and said to them, Why lodge you about the wall? If you do so again, I will lay hands on you. From that time forth came they no more on the Sabbath.
So this brother had zeal. Hey, we just got back in this kingdom, and you trying to bring this F stuff up in here. All right? I ain't having it. I got my bros right here. They stand at these gates, and they gonna put hands on you. And no, better yet, if I see you lodging around this gate again, I'm gonna put hands on you. That's a zeal. So you think that brother is gonna turn around and eat this pork and stuff? No, this brother is willing to put his life on the line. All right, let's move on to Yohanan chapter 2. John chapter 2. John chapter 2. That's why we don't spend money on the Sabbath. We don't cause people to have to work. How can I say I love my neighbor like myself? I ain't gonna work. You ain't gonna ever catch me working on Shabbat. Shoot. But I'm gonna go run up to the store with one of my brothers working and go ahead and buy these tennis shoes real quick. What kind of wickedness is that? Now, if you didn't know better, you ain't know better. I remember when I first came in the world, I'd leave and go straight to the store and go buy a pack of blunts. I ain't know no better. But when I found out, I was like, oh, really? Man. Praise Yahweh. Thank you, bro, for telling me, man. Please, Yahweh, forgive me. And I don't spend ever since. John chapter 2. And we're going to start this at verse 1.
And the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee. And the mother of Yeshua was there. And both Yeshua was called and his disciples to the marriage. And when they wanted wine, the mother of Yeshua said unto him, There they have no wine. Yeshua said unto her, Woman, what have I to do with you? My hour is not yet come. His mother said unto the servants, Whatsoever he says unto you, do it.
So he's like, man, woman, what I have to do with you? My hour is not yet come. Man, you know they're finna kill me if they see me doing these miracles, man. You know, I haven't even started preaching yet. Give me some time before I start busting out all these miracles and I got the FBI trying to kill me. You know? Go ahead.
His mother said unto the servant, "Sir, he says unto you, do it." And they were set there 6 water pots of stone after the manner of the purifying of the Yehuda, containing 2 or 3 first skins apiece. Yahshua said unto them, "Fill the water pots with water," and they filled them up to the brim. And he said unto them, "Draw out now and bear unto the governor of the feast." And they bare it. When the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, and knew not whence it was, for the servants which drew the water knew, the governor of the feast called the bridegroom, and said unto him, "Every man in the beginning does set forth good wine, and when men have well drunk, then that which is worse. But you have kept the good wine until now."
Okay, let's analyze that. What is wine a symbol of?
Blood.
Right, the blood, and the blood
could be mirth, joyous occasion.
Right? So the blood contains the spirit, right? So in the beginning, we start with water. Plain. Wine has water in it. Anything liquid has water in it, right? So we start out like that, and usually man put out the good stuff. Oh, okay, you just start out great. You just start out perfect. This great spiritual creature that can do everything. No. Yahshua said, no, you're going to start out plain water like this. And depending on what you put in that water, depends on what it's going to turn. Put some sugar and some dye in there, you got Kool-Aid. You know, you put some grapes and some certain things to make it ferment, you got wine. So the wine, he's showing that I have the power to allow you to receive of this blood. The blood of the grape is the wine. So he's turning this plain, tasteless, really, you know, it's just regular thing into something that is now can be offered up to Yahweh. We don't do water offerings to Yahweh. Yahweh offer this water to you, like the Catholics do with that holy, so-called unholy water. They spraying water all over it. We don't do that. We use oil. We use olive oil. We use incense. We use things like that have substance. So we use water to cleanse ourselves. So he is turning this water and he's showing that I have the power to put this spirit, to cover you in my blood out of something. And only I have that power. None of y'all can turn that water into wine. Has anybody else did it? Nope, not that I know of.
My question there. I want to know what was the significance of she asked him and said, you know, there's no wine. Why was it automatically suggested that he do a miracle to make wine? Like, couldn't you just like go home and get the wine, you know?
Yeah, it wasn't
like,
necessarily.
What made it, you know, automatically like it's not my time, automatically boom, just miracle, you know, like
child has been doing special stuff for a long time. You know, he just fasted for 40 days and 40 nights and showed up. His countenance, when a man gets baptized and changes and receives that spirit, his countenance is a little different. Now, when you got somebody who stayed with the spirit, whole different scenario. This is his first miracle. First ever miracle that he did. So obviously there was something in this woman that, you know, she wasn't going to ask him, where he a carpenter. They ain't got money like that. He going to go travel all the way home to go get wine? Where would he get all this wine from? You know? So there was something in her that suggested, like, I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know if he was going to do a miracle, but hey, I have faith in you. I know you can do something. Talk to your father and see if you can hook something up. Now, was she suggesting go make wine or go do whatever? She might have just said, you know, he's going to know what to do. He's a wise person. How do we keep this going? And it was just like, hey, you know, somebody's good in basketball. Whatever the situation is, you going to pass him the ball because he's going to do something. He going to dunk. He going to shoot a three-point. He going to shake somebody. He going to do a nice assist. And alley-oop, give it to that man. He's talented. And I think that's probably what that significance was.
And it made me wonder, like, the significance of marriage and a wedding, where the main time you see Yeshua's mother actually call Yeshua was to make sure that there was wine at a wedding. And so you dial 911 when there's an emergency, and people calling Yeshua because somebody died.
Right.
And she's like, oh my gosh, there's no wine.
Out of wine. You know, she was drinking that good wine.
Yeah. It's interesting though. It's the dynamic there.
All right, go ahead.
What verse was that? Verse 12, verse 11. This beginning of miracles did Yeshua in Cana of Galilee, and manifested forth his glory, and his disciples believed on him. After this, he went down to Capernaum, he and his mother, and his brethren, and his disciples, and they continued there not many days. And the Yehudim's Passover was at hand, and Yeshua went up to Jerusalem, and found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves and changers of money sitting. And when he had made a scourge of small cords, he drove them all out of the temple, and the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the changers' money, and overthrew the tables.
Okay, so again, we don't know about this Jesus here. This Jesus is a different guy here. He's starting to look more Hebrew right now. So, Yeshua, how many times did you see him strike somebody? Not very often. He wasn't here to judge. He's here to save. He's here to die. But in this scenario, what was the significance of this scenario where he was the zeal? He's seen all kind of wickedness going on in the temple. Sleeping with people in front of the temple door. And all kind of wickedness. But this scenario here, he wilded out. Why is that? Start at verse 13.
Around Passover.
It was a holy day. Now, do we know what part of Passover was it? Was it the first day? Was it the second day where they actually eat and kill the Passover and eat it and all that stuff? The 14th at night, kill that Passover lamb or whatever. What part was it? But it was a set apart day. So you have set apart day. Then, not only is it a set apart day, you in his father's house. You not esteeming him, that's one thing, but you're not going to esteem him in his house on his set apart day. The first real set apart holy day, you have New Year too, is also set apart day. It's a Rosh Chodesh, but his first holy day day. And you come up in there selling oxen and sheep and all that. First of all, when are you supposed to take the sheep?
To the temple.
When are you supposed to take the sheep?
By the evening.
The 12th. You're supposed to grab that sheep from either the 10th or the 12th. One of those days. Don't quote me. It's either the 10th or the 12th. You got to grab that sheep. So what you grabbing a sheep now on Passover? What was you doing then? You're not esteeming. You're just doing it because everybody doing it. This wasn't in your heart. You didn't prepare for this. Then you want to actually take the Passover too? You know you ain't worthy of taking the Passover if you wait until the day of Passover to go try to buy your Passover stuff on Passover. Go ahead.
Verse 16. And said unto them that sold doves, take these things hence, make not my father's house a house of merchandise. And his disciples remembered that it was written, the zeal of thine house hath eaten me up. Then answered the Yehudim and said to him, what sign shows you us, seeing that you do these things? Yeshua answered and said unto them, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up. Then said the Yehudim, 46 years was this temple in building, and will you rear it up in 3 days? But he spoke of the temple of his body. When therefore he was risen from the dead, his disciples remembered that he had said this unto them, and they believed the scripture and the word which Yeshua had said. Now when he was in Jerusalem at the Passover and the feast day, many believed in his name when they saw the miracles which he did. And Yeshua did not commit himself unto them, because he knew all men, and needed not that any should testify of man, for he knew what was in man.
Again, he knows what's in man, so he can judge man, because he knows what's in man's heart. Okay, so he said, now when it was Jerusalem at the Passover in the feast day, so that means it was the 14th before. 14th, because that's when they would be, trying to kill that lamb or whatever. On the 14th, in that third part of that day, right in between the 15th, right? And now the 15th is here. So it wasn't necessarily like, well, don't do it on the Sabbath day. You ain't supposed to be doing that in the temple anyways. They're supposed to be able to come to you and receive, not have to give you and buy all these different things from you. So his zeal said, do not turn my father's house into a den of merchandise. So why would we go to all these churches? That's all you see is merchandise. Buy this DVD, buy this sermon, give me all this money. Here's an ATM. That sounds like a house of merchandise for me. If I buy a T-shirt that say Holy, 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 Holy Baptist Church. And I left that third holy off for a reason. Holy, Holy Baptist Church. All right, let's move on to Numbers, Bamidbar, chapter 14. Bamidbar, chapter 14. All right, start at verse 1.
And all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. And all the children of Yasharal murmured against Moshe and against Aaron. And the whole congregation said to them, if only that we had died in the land of Egypt, or if only we had died in the wilderness. And wherefore has Yahweh brought us to this land to fall by the sword, that our wives and our children should be preyed? Were it not better for us to return to Egypt?
So this Elohim just freed you by miracles. And within a few days or whatever, you forgot about all the miracles because your stomach is hurt. Your kids is crying. And it's not just them. They kids is, I'm hungry, and all that stuff. And you're like, oh, why did you do this deed? Why did you bring us out here to serve you, great creator of all? Oh, we're going to starve to death out here. We're going to die. What makes you think that? Oh, because my stomach is hungry. That's what the flesh is telling me. Your spirit ain't going to remind you of the miracles and the high and mighty hand he brought you out. Verse 4.
And they said one to another, let us make a captain, and let us return to Egypt. Then Moshe and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the children of Yasharal. And Yeshua the son of Nun, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, which were of them that searched the land, rent their clothes.
So Yeshua the son of Nun, or Oshay was his name before that, or Caleb, the only two brothers that made it out of Egypt and walked into the kingdom. What did they do different? They showed that they did not agree with the people. You can't just be quiet. And I'm not going to do what they do, is be quiet. You got to set yourself apart from wickedness. That's why you have to call wickedness, so that Yahweh, the angels, everybody know I'm not with this. Anybody else watching from the sideline, I wonder what Yadon going to do. Well, damn, Yadon threw ashes on his head and ripped up his garments. I guess he not with it. If Yadon ain't with it, I ain't with it. I don't really know a lot, but I know that brother, he ain't the same brother he used to be. I knew when he was wicked. I'm following that dude. People have a choice. But if you blend it all in, well, he ain't saying nothing, then you ain't a leader. You a hireling.
Good. Also, brother, that's one thing where you have to be careful of that desire for the favor of men. The desire for the favor of men will make you, want to not use the name of Yahweh in front of people. You start not like wanting to uphold righteousness. When people start doing wickedness, you kind of sit there idle because you're like, I don't want to be the enemy here. You have to really not care. Right, and be like, I'm not here to be friends with nobody. I'm here to uphold righteousness and love.
But people looking to find friends.
Yeah,
they looking to relive that childhood and have the friends in the neighborhood and want to be accepted. But at the end of the day, man, Yahweh separated these people from you. That's why you didn't have the friends with every single person in the block. Yahweh was like, nah, I need to keep my child away from these people. Somewhat. So we think it's something wrong with us, man. Why I can't be like the world? Why I'm always a loner? Why I'm always end up here by myself? Because you said you ain't going to do what everybody else do. That's why you were chosen to give the word. And you were chosen to receive the word. Because you ain't going to do what everybody else want to do. Now, if you want everybody to be family, that's different. Because you're going to treat your family a certain way. You're going to esteem them a certain way, but you're going to rebuke them a certain way because I'm concerned with your life. Now, that's my brother. You ain't finna go die. You ain't finna do that stupidness. You gonna come over here. You my little brother. You my little sister. You my little cousin. You my little whatever. Now, you fight. I told you about that. Now, when you go get your behind in problem, be calling me and calling auntie and calling everybody else to come here. Go ahead.
Verse 7. And they spoke unto all the company of the children of Yasharal, saying, the land which we passed through to search it is an exceeding good land. If Yahweh delights in us, then he will bring us to this land and give it to us, a land which flows with milk and honey. Only rebel you not against Yahweh, neither fear you the people of the land, for they are bread for us. Their defense is departed from them, and Yahweh is with us, fear them not. But all the congregation made stone them with stones, and the glory of Yahweh appeared in the tabernacle of the congregation before all the children of Yahshua.
So it got so bad, Yahweh had to show up like, whoa, wait a minute, hold on, man. Y'all's tripping. I try to sit back here and let y'all kids work it out, but now you're trying to kill each other. And you're trying to kill my servant. Rather than me killing off all y'all, let me come here and shake up some stuff, stir up some sand. Go ahead.
And then also, brother, like, if you can only imagine the stir that was going on in the spirit as far as the amount of demons that left other sides of the earth and be like, yo, Yahweh is moving all these people out of Egypt, you know, and stirring them up to do evil, you know, to the point they're about to stone Moshe and Yahshua. If Yahweh didn't step in, they would have been dead for the massive influence of evil at that one point in time. Right. Had to step in like, no, that's not about to happen right here.
Right. Even Aaron stepping up. You know, last time he was like, all right, I built that calf. But, you know, even Aaron stepping like, don't do this. Don't do it.
Just swarming demons around the camp.
Verse 11.
And Yahweh said unto Moshe, how long will this people provoke me? And how long will it be ere they believe me for all the signs which I have showed among them?
How much more do you want? What else can I do? Oh, so you mean it has to be perfect all the time for you to esteem me? You can't have no kind of affliction, no kind of chastisement for you to esteem me. It has to be everything you absolutely dreamed of and fathomed every time for you to worship me. What will happen to those people? We're going to read. Go ahead.
Verse 12. I will smite them with the pestilence and disinherit them and make of you a greater nation and mightier than they. And make of you a greater nation and mightier than they. And Moshe said unto Yahweh, then the Egyptians shall hear it, for you brought up this people in your might from among them. And they will tell it to the inhabitants of this land, for they have heard that you, Yahweh, are among this people, that you, Yahweh, are seen face to face, and that your cloud stands over them, and that you go before them by daytime in a pillar of a cloud and in a pillar of fire by night.
So Yahweh picked the right one. He concerned with the people and Yahweh. Because he said, like, don't kill off these people, please. Which you're going to see later. He stands in the breach for them. But he cares about Yahweh too. Oh, Yahweh. But we don't want your name to be blasphemed. We don't want you to look like you anything less than the greatest thing that ever existed. Let's think about this, Yahweh. And how righteous of a man that can make Yahweh, you can influence Yahweh's will. I don't want to say change it, but influence his will. Go ahead, verse 15.
Another question here, verse 12 was like, Yahweh was like, I'm smiting and just heard them. I'll make of you a greater nation, mightier than they. Because I don't wonder what would have happened if Moshe didn't reach out and intercede. Like, would Yahweh have done his desire?
He might have had him, Moshe, go sleep with some other woman from, you know, Canaan or who knows, Egyptian, whatever, and said, okay, all this, you're gonna be Mosheites, and you ain't gonna be as big. I guarantee they wouldn't be as stupid as us. We stupid. He ain't pick us because we was just some great people. We great because Yahweh with us. But I can just imagine.
Verse 15. Now, if you shall kill all this people as one man, then the nations which have heard of the fame of you will speak, saying, because Yahweh was not able to bring this people into the land which he swore unto them, therefore he has slain them in the wilderness. And now I beseech you, let the power of my Yahweh be great, according as you have spoken. Is that Adonai? Right?
Yeah, Adonai. Power of my Adonai be great.
According as you have spoken, saying, Yahweh is long suffering.
How did you know that was Adonai?
Because the way he sounded, I was like, Adonai fit it, bro. Yahweh is long suffering and of great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression.
What you need to do, did it have the right Strongs?
No, it says 36a, and Adonai is what, 19?
I can't remember. I'll look it up quick.
Or 416 or something like that. Lowercase Lord.
What verse is that? 14 and what?
14, 17.
H136. Adonai.
My antenna went up. That's Adonai. Yahweh is, verse 18, Yahweh is long suffering and of great mercy, forgiving the iniquity and transgression, and by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation. Pardon, I beseech you, the iniquity of this people, according unto the greatness of your mercy, and as you have forgiven this people from Mitzrayim even until now.
So ask yourself, are you living your life the way you're living your life right now in the direction that you're going? Is that going to be beneficial to your third and fourth generation? Or are they going to be cursed because of you? Or are they going to cease to exist because of you? We don't think about that when we walk out here. All we're thinking about is that motorcycle, them shoes, that woman. That's all we're not thinking. What about your children? What kind of legacy you going to leave for them? Are you going to raise your children in a manner that they can raise their children better than we were raised? Or are we going to be selfish and make the decisions that are going to plague our children because we're dealing with them same childhood problems that we had to deal with our parents and what they went through?
Brother, even right there in verse 16 where Moshe was like to Yahweh, what you're not strong enough, they're going to say you weren't strong enough to bring this people out, And even today, I was thinking to myself, like, Yahweh, I'm reading Jasher and all the old books. From antiquity, there has been wickedness on the earth, even outside of Yasharal. And I'm like, Yahweh, are you not weary by this? Because in my short life, 25 years of life, I'm weary daily from the wickedness I'm hearing. And I'm like,
he's omnipotent. This is like, you seen all that wickedness? Dang, that's wicked. I got something for that. It's just that quick to him. It's forever. Our minds can't even wrap that. Beginning of time. Here's the beginning of time. Before that, what? Your mind can't even grasp that. And he's so wise and so knowledgeable that we can't even comprehend what he sees. He gives us these little things so we can feel a smidget of what he goes through. But it's nothing compared. Nothing compared. If you go like this forever, if you keep punching a brick wall, eventually your knuckles will get tough. And that brick wall will hurt you like that no more. So Yahweh is used to that, but also that anger is building and building and building and building and building and building and building until you say, yes, there go the last saint. Yahshua, go do your thing. 144,000 killers on the way.
Woo! Verse 20. And Yahweh said, I have pardoned according to your word, but as truly as I live, all the earth shall be filled with the glory of Yahweh. Because all those men which have seen my glory and my miracles which I did in Mitzrayim and in the wilderness have tempted me now these 10 times and have not hearkened to my voice, surely they shall not see the land which I swore unto their fathers, neither shall any of them that provoke me see it. But my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit with him, and had followed me fully, will I bring into the land whereunto he went, and his seed shall possess it.
Right. So if we read further, it's Caleb and Yahshua, the only two. Obviously, Yahshua walked them in the land, so he made it.
That was the solution.
But he said, surely they shall not see the land which I swear unto their fathers. And if you go up to verse 22, he said these 10 times. It wasn't like the first time you messed up. 10 times y'all done tried Yahweh. And Yahweh said, no, you're right. If I kill them all off, they're going to say I'm not powerful enough. And they holding me ransom with that. Okay, I'm going to kill y'all off and bring your children in. Try to play that game with Yahweh. Your arms ain't long enough to box with the God.
Because me, brother, I was just sitting there like, oh, what is he going to do? I forgot how the story went. I'm like, all this wickedness going to be in the land. I was like, nah, I'm good. Just move one on. All of y'all are going. I was going to bring these two people. Pretty much. Try this again.
Pretty much. And I didn't lie. I kept it. And I knew this was going to happen. I told you I was going to do that. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to... let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12. And get into the basics of this.
At least the greatest thing we have is to know that Yahweh is, greater than any troubles that we're going through. And he's able to break any issue that with one swift move. And there's no problem too great.
If I'm a blacksmith or whatever, and I'm making a sword to cut people, I'm gonna make it sharp. I'm gonna make it to do what it needs to do. Saying his first time, he's had plenty of practice making us. He know how to make his people. He know how to choose certain people. My son don't give a damn what these brothers think. He ain't care when he was a kid. He really ain't gonna care now. My son hate to lose. My son got thick skin. My son loves to make his daddy proud. He loves to make his earthly daddy proud. When he find out who spiritual daddy is, he gonna love to make his spiritual daddy proud. And I'm gonna use all that stuff that he used for wickedness and clean it up and use it for me. And I'm gonna put him through the fire, burn his ass. He don't know he finna make it through the fire, but I know. He don't do things by mistake. And he don't put people together by mistake. Our education, I was just thinking that the other day, it says Yahweh teaches man. Blessed be Yah, my rock, that teaches my hands to war, my fingers to fight. Psalm 144 is one of my favorite psalms. Well, I was thinking to myself, I was like, so did Yahweh just bling? He's a great fighter. No, he put you around other people. Teach you how to fight. He teach you through men. That's what servants are for. He could magically give us every knowledge we want, whenever. But no, he chose servants for a reason. What good is that if he got to do all the work? That's what you for. So when he sent David over there with the Philistines and all these other people, he was picking up the African martial arts. He was learning all that stuff. See, you can't learn how to fight a lion. I mean, you can somewhat learn, but how do you teach the technique of fighting a lion barehanded or a bear? That's just pure Yahweh and his strength and his movement and all that type of stuff. That's that. But at the end of the day, Yahweh's like, okay, I gave you this basic spirit, this Ashe, this warrior spirit. But now I'm going to put you around brothers that can teach you how to fight. Go back to when Lot was taken away and his whole house was taken away. Abraham brought his people over there and he said, I don't remember how many servants it was, but it was a great deal of servants. And do you remember what they were trained with?
Abraham and Lot.
Yeah. When Abraham's servants and them went over to go rescue Lot, you remember what they were trained with? Trained with the sword.
Okay, it was like 300 of them again.
Trained with the sword. Where they trained this from? Who trained them? Somebody had to train them.
Yeah, with knowledge. Somebody
had that knowledge around them. And that knowledge, he trained his people around him. And they were ready. Let's go. So he didn't just magically come on you. You gotta put in the work. It's like the word ain't gonna magically. Stop. and wickedness. I got it. I knew it. Somebody gonna have to teach you. We just read that in the last other classes. Even the heir, he's around governors and tutors until it's his time. So this is how he's going to teach you. He's going to put people around you so you know what you know for a reason. Even the drug dealer you knew. You might have learned some business techniques. Or you might have learned certain things to stay away from. All these people are in your life for a reason. You could have been in Alaska and never been exposed to any of that stuff. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and start at verse 1. Let's get to the meat, the end all be all of this, of what we're doing. Mm-hmm.
Remember now you're created in the day of your youth, while the evil days come not, nor years draw near when you shall say, I have no pleasure in them. While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain.
So don't wait until it's the fourth quarter to want to go in the game and want to try to score a touchdown. In your youth, while you have energy, while you have the ability to get beaten the crap down and get back up. You don't try to start boxing when you're 50. You can hit one good time, it's over for you. Your brain can't move like that. So now is the time to repent. And guess what? If you're 50 and you just woke up, now is your time to repent. You're spiritually 1. Spiritually 0 or whatever. Be a baby. But folk want to keep feeling like they got till tomorrow because they had yesterday. You don't know if you got tomorrow. We don't know if the world is going to be here tomorrow. That's why we say, what? Tomorrow I'm going to do this. What do we say?
Yah's will.
Yah's will. I'll be alive and I will go come to your thing. Because we don't know. We're giving the power to the Father. We're not the God. We're not saying we can do it. We don't even know if we're going to be here, much less go there. How many times we make that mistake and Yahweh make his point? Oh, yeah, I'm coming through. I'll be there. Oh, I ain't going to be late. Trust me. I'll see you there. Oh, yeah, we're going to play ball. The thunderstorm on a perfect day. There ain't a cloud in the sky, but it's raining. You're like, where the hell is this rain coming from? Car accidents, run out of gas, people calling you, need to come to work, something. Y'all would make a point. No, you ain't in control here. You better rip that God is my co-pilot sticker off your car. Go ahead.
Verse 3, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened.
That's not your first fruits, man. All the way in you're old and you had all your fun, you did everything and you had no choice. And you're about to die. Well, let me try to get right. That ain't your first fruits. That's not going to be accepted unto Yahweh. Now, if that was the best that you have, that was what he chose for you, that's a different story. But Yahweh ain't going to be mocked. He knew you was a Hebrew when you was 20 and you waited till you was 60 to try to repent.
Verse 4, and the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And when they shall be afraid of that which is near, and fear shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and desire shall fail, because man goes into his long home, and the mourners go about the streets, or ever the silver cord be loosed, and the golden bowl be broken, or the pitcher be broken at the fountain, or the wheel be broken at the cistern. Then shall the dust return to the earth where it was, and the spirit shall return to Elohim who gave it. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher. All is vanity. And moreover, because the preacher was wise, he still taught the people knowledge. Yea, he gave good heed, and sought out and set in order many proverbs. The preacher sought to find out acceptable words, and that which was written was upright, even words of truth. The words of the wise are as gold, and the nails fastened by masters of assemblies, which are given from one shepherd. And further, by these, my son, be admonished, of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh.
So does that mean you can't read other books? It says, by making many books there is no end. Master something. Don't just read every book that's out there. You can't master it. My dad used to say, don't be a jack of all, ace of none. He used to tell me that all the time. You always jumping. You always want to do this. You always want to do that. When you going to master something? Go ahead.
Verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Elohim and keep the commandments, for this is the whole duty of man.
So what else you got to do? What other excuse you got to tell me why you can't esteem Yahweh? Self? What other excuse you got? You ain't got no excuse. Your whole purpose here is to fear Elohim and keep his commandments. That's the whole, that's not partial. That's the whole matter. Your whole life is centered around that. Fearing Yahweh, which causes you to have understanding, and keeping the commandments. Everything else is just vanity around it. Everything else. This is what people, you watching those movies, wise man, tell us what the purpose of life is. Now, where your servitude comes in, you gotta, just like go to college, you gotta take a couple classes to figure out what your major gonna be. And guess what? You might have a bachelor's in business and you get a master's in something else. Whole different stuff. Economics, bachelor, a master's in business. Who knows?
Brother, that reminds me of talent. So you went over, I don't know who was speaking on that Bible study, where it was like, one had 5, one had 3, one had 10, whatever it may be. And you had one that had 1.
5, 2, 1. Right.
The one talent is right here. The duty, the conclusion of the matter. For how you keep the commandments is the whole duty of man. That's the one talent he had.
You better not bury that. You better produce something. Better produce some fruits.
And then look what he asked. Look what he asked the master. Look what the master said to him. He was like, "You said I'm a hard man. All right. So why didn't you give it to the money changer? The money changer they could bring increase. Why didn't you tell somebody else at least? That could bear fruit. Just knowing that one talent, so that they could bear fruit."
That's dope. Exactly. You mean you couldn't at least tell the word to somebody? You ain't doing it, but you told him so that he could be the servant. He gonna be.
The whole talent was
you buried it. Wow, that's deep. Go ahead and finish that.
All right. Verse 14. "For Elohim shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil."
Everything. Everything will be brought into judgment. Your work, don't matter who you are, where you are, Israel, not Israel, whatever, it's going to be brought to judgment. We just don't want it to be in front of that throne. We want to be, second death does not apply to these people, or we want to be alive and just ride on out. So this other things, Yahweh doesn't expect us to be perfect. He expects our ways to be perfect. And our ways to be perfect is keeping these laws. You mess up, repent. Try not, try better, try harder. Figure out. We can figure all kind of ways to drive around that pothole in the street, but then yet we keep walking and falling in the same pothole. It don't make no sense. So, again, we want to focus on the weightier matters of the law, like in Matthew 23. Focus on the weightiers of the matter of the law, but do not leave the other undone. But if it's left undone because you haven't finished the weightier matters of the law, then that's so be it. Praise Yah that you're alive long enough to at least accomplish the weightier matters of the law, and Yah willing, you'll be alive enough to finish the smaller things in the law. Tithing of mint, anise, and cumin. Don't not do that. Judgment, mercy, and faith. Focus on that. Master something before you get moving on. So that's all we're going to do today. If you want to look at 1 John chapter 5, it talks about Yahweh's laws are not grievous. When you understand these laws and you become your heritage, it's not grievous to you. You're not suffering, because Yahweh will find ways to reward you, find ways to give you satisfaction, find a way. He'll make little ways for you to do the little things that you like. I had to give up a lot of my major part of my acting career. Then when I did that, all kind of acting gigs would come up that would work in my schedule, and my own business would prosper, and all kind of things. He'll find a way if you have faith. But if you block it off that I'm going to be miserable because I'm going to keep this law, you ain't keeping the law. Your attitude already shows that you ain't going to keep the law. You're just wasting your time. Because if you ain't going to do it wholeheartedly, then don't waste your time. You're going to die a wicked death. And after your wicked death, you're going to suffer unless the Messiah is just in a good mood, I guess, or whatever the case may be. But according to this book, you already know the end of that. Why are you going to give that reward to you when this servant right here got beheaded for his word? And you chose not to esteem it and half behind it. What, you better than him? Is the other person that beheaded, was he better than you? No. So Let us sanctify ourselves. And whatever we know, whatever we understand, let us at least do that while we study to be better. All right, so let's end in a prayer. All brothers remove their head coverings, and all sisters pray with their heads covered. Abba Father, Yahweh, Elohim, the Allah of Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov, Covenant Father, I'm speechless, Yahweh. All I can say is glory unto you, Yahweh. Thank you so much, Yahweh, for we are truly not worthy, Yahweh. You are such a holy, such a Kadash, Holy Spirit, Yahweh. And you have resided with us and shared of that Spirit to some filthy, unworthy creatures, Yahweh. And you have given us a dim light so that we can at least see the path long enough to gain more light, Yahweh. And it's not because we are worthy, Yahweh. It's not because we are some great people or we are the best of the pick, Yahweh. It's because you are so merciful, Yahweh. It's because you are so humble, Yahweh, that you would choose the drudge of this world, Yahweh, and raise it up, Yahweh, and prove to people that you have the final say so, Yahweh. And we're thankful, Yahweh. And Yahweh, we do not take that for granted, Yahweh, and we do not hold that for ransom against you, Yahweh. We will do our best, Yahweh, to make the changes we need to make in ourselves, Yahweh, and help as many people as possible that you send to us, Yahweh, for us to give the word to them, to send them to your Son, Yahweh. And we're thankful for being part of that, Yahweh. We ask and we pray and we beg that you continually work with us, Yahweh, and be merciful and chasten us. Give us the instructions, Yahweh, so we can show you our obedience, Yahweh. Yahweh, all these things we humbly come before you. We thank and pray, not only for us, but for all your children across the four corners of the earth, Yahweh, that esteem you, Yahweh, that show you your sign of your Sabbath day and your sign of obedience, Yahweh, and understand the whole duty of man, Yahweh. Yahweh, all these things we thank and pray through your holy, humble, anointed servant, our example, Yeshua HaMashiach, in which all praise, majesty, might, and dominion resides here and forevermore. Through you, your majesty, in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, we thank and pray. Amen.